Hello there, my name is Ismail and welcome to Top Channel 101. So today we're going to be starting a new training series and looking at how to make this scene here. So we're going to model a few things here, maybe everything if we have the time, including the towels, this basket, the shower head, lights and everything. So if you want to have this reference image, you can just go under this link. I will be leaving it in the description. So you can download that and follow along if you want. So let's get started. I'm going to try and model this to real world scale. So this is usually about 3 meters. So that is, if you get the measure tool, you can just measure this and let's undo this. Let me turn on my screen keys and measure this. So 3 meters is around here. If you measure from this x-axis, that is 3 meters, and every large square is about a meter, and every small square I think is about 10 centimeters, which totals to 100 centimeters for this entire block in the vertical space. So yeah, let's add a plane. I'll rotate it 90 degrees, move it there. Now I'll turn on random colors and cavities so that our scene looks better, and then I'll select these vertices and move them. You hold down Control to snap to the grid and move them to the 3 meter mark around there. So we have our wall. So I can leave this wall to be 2 meters in the width, and then let's add this part here. Before to do this, let's just select this edge, then extrude it 3 meters this side in the Y direction. So E, Y, and then hold down Control to snap to grid. So to have something like that. Now to add in this inset, let's add a loop here. Let's go to front view or right view, and I think this is around half a meter, so we can put it around there, which is half this large grid. Now let's do the same for the top. So this would be the beam, which is I think should be around there. Now we can select this face and then extrude it, I think 1 meter, which is one large box. Is that 1 meter? Maybe 1.5 meter, because I think that is too small. So let's move this to around there, and let's also extrude this in the X direction and make this like that. Also select this, do the same, hold down Control to snap to the grid. So we have a bathroom like that. Let me delete this face because we won't be seeing it, but it will be getting in the way when modeling. So and now let's reorient our camera or move our camera to this position here. So you can hold down Control Alt 0, make sure you have nothing else selected. Hold down Control Alt 0 to snap your camera into the view you're looking at. Then you can press G and then Z twice to move it in this direction, in the forward and back direction. We'll push this around there. I want to get the same orientation as this image. So you can hit N while in this view, and this view, to get access to this view, you just select it as the image editor. Usually what the default is the outliner, but I usually don't use that a lot, so I change this to the image editor so that I have my reference image here. And the way you bring this in, you just drag the image directly here and it will be there. So we want to get the dimensions of this so that we have the same orientation of our camera, or the same aspect ratio as our camera. So hit N and then you can see the dimensions here. So let's go to the output settings and then change that to match this. So this is 1362 by 2048, and right now is a good time to save, so I'll save that. And you can see we have the same aspect ratio right now, the same aspect ratio. Also, make sure that your aspect ratio here doesn't change, otherwise you won't have the same aspect ratio. So if I change this, you can see that if I change it from 1:1, it will also change the aspect ratio. So make sure that is 1:1 here as well. So then we just need to position this. If you look at this camera here, we don't have the details for the focal length and everything, but we can estimate the focal length. I think it's around 28 or 30. So we can just go in here to the camera settings, make sure that you have the camera selected, and then select under the camera, under the lens settings, let's try 28 and see. Then we can move this in a bit and rotate it around, basically to get the exact, maybe not the exact, but something similar as what we have in our scene. Yeah, something like that. And I think I can also add a wall here, close it off like that, so we have something like that. And yeah, so there is an add-on that you can use to set up the camera to match your reference images, but I usually don't like using add-ons in tutorials because that adds another step for the user who wants to learn, and if it's not necessary, I don't do it. So yeah, we're not going to be using that. So let's continue modeling. So I think we can model these, I don't know how you call them, but this wall here, you can add this detail using a texture, like these tiles here. You can use a texture to add that using normal maps or bump maps, but I don't have such a texture, and I think this is small detail that we can model in quite easily. So let's do that. And our scene is not going to be really heavy, that this is going to add a lot of computing power to our scene. So let's just model this. So I'll start by making these, I don't know, I'll call them beams. So let's go in here, add a plane, Shift A, rotate it 90 degrees, then scale this down to around let's go with that. Maybe let's reduce this a bit to that. And let's reset the origin center. And I'll move this out a bit and extrude this like that. I won't need this outside face, so I will delete that. And to add in those small details, I'll go and let's first make it repeating. So just add the array modifier. So let's first apply rotation and scale, and change the relative offset to be in the Z direction. So let's see how many do we need. This should be 1, and the count should be, I don't know, yeah, 10. It doesn't have to start from the ground because we're going to have this part here. So let's have this around there, and we need to have those gaps that you see in the reference image. So for that, let's use a bevel modifier. Make sure you apply scale and rotation. You can see what we have, but these gaps seem a bit too much, so let's reduce the width of the bevel like this. If you hold down Shift while changing the values here, you can change them by small increments. Get this cut. So yeah, I think that's good enough for now. And yeah, so from that, let's start working on these tiles here. These are a bit complicated, but not too complicated. So for them, let's just duplicate this again, Shift D to this direction, to this side, and then scale this down a bit. So let's get this, and I think this should be around half the size of this block. So let me select this and then push it down to the middle like that, so that there are two. Move them here. Yeah, this cuts. So now that we have that, we need to make it. Let's see this here. Let me stop here, and in the next tutorial I'll be making this these tiles here. These cuts are disturbing.